Hello. Uh, it is almost 1 now. It is on Saturday, um, May the 2nd. And this is the third, no, this is the fourth time I try to do this video. But, people keep banging things outside, or, they're leaf blowing, cutting grass, all that kind of stuff. So it's been noisy. So I've had to redo this 4 times, you know. But, hopefully this is the good time, right? The final one. Okay, so this is my weekly update, and I just want to basically, um, I just want to say that, okay, a couple things. First, the job hunt. My goal was 70 applications, 10, applications a day for 7 days a week. And currently I'm at 80. I still have 2 days left, so I'm going to aim for 100 applications. Um, right, I had an interview on, I think it was Thursday or Wednesday. I think it might be Thursday. I had an interview, and hopefully I get a call back from them. If not, I also have an interview on Monday, in an office. So I'll see how that's about. You know how that goes. Hopefully, I land the job. Right, different fields, but they're both good jobs. So hopefully one of them lands good starting positions. Other than that, I have some I have some emails I have to get back to, right, again, from the applications. Have a couple of them that say that I need to complete some extra forms or resend some information, so they can fully go through. So I gotta get those done, you know, as well. Reading wise, I'm thinking I'm gonna just read one book, and I'm thinking about just reading Game of Thrones. And hopefully, who knows, maybe by the time I finish the series, the Winds of Winter have dropped. We can always wish, hope, you know it could, maybe there's a Christmas miracle this year, maybe not. Who knows? We'll see. Yeah, other not so important news, or who cares news. My gummies are almost out. I am currently at the very bottom of my 5 pound bag, so I've been eating them, but I'm kind of slowing down because I'm trying to lose weight. And yeah, oh yeah, I'm trying to lose weight for a cosplay. You guys know about that. Um, that's still gonna happen. I still need to figure out how I'm gonna do the pictures and stuff like that. And I'm gonna shave again. I'm gonna just YOLO it and go for it, right? So we'll see. Um, what else? Had a weird dream, right? And the dream, it was in a cartoon style, kind of like a video game. Like Little Nightmares, I think that's what it's called. Similar to that, in a very kind of like monotone color scheme, right? Very toned down, dark, and it was the old school, princess trapped in a tower kind of deal, but she was trapped in a cage, kind of like a fishing cage almost, right? Metal cage with the things on it, and then you have a guard that's going around, and you have the hero that's trying to rescue the, I'm assuming, the princess, or who knows, maybe a prince in there, trying to rescue them. And you know it's it's interesting because she keeps on, the princess keeps on pushing away the hero, like constantly, right, telling him to get away, causing him harm, attacking him, where it hurts him the most, and stuff like that, right, like actively trying to get him away. And the hero doesn't give up, keeps on trying and trying, and eventually, he he opens the cage, right, he breaks the cage, right, gets through past the guard, breaks the cage, and then the princess, right, is like a puppet, right, it's in a long hand, kind of like a tentacle thing, right, it's at the end of something like that. And you know it gets, at the end of it, the prince, well, the hero, uh, gets with the princess. They kiss, and then everything turns dark. Right, for me, I woke up like, it was like, when it fades. I woke up, like, if I had just experienced a nightmare. Like my whole, like, how do I explain it? Like my chest right here was burning. Like it was like really painful here, and all my body was cold, really cold. And I'm like, what? Like, I just, that's, it just caught me very difficult, very very hard off guard. You know, like normally whenever I get, when I wake up with a cold sweat or anything like that, it's because, I fell from a high place. I died in my dream. Something happened, right? So it's alarming. So yeah, I still don't know what to think about the dream. I don't know if it's a warning. I don't know if it's something that I should look into. I don't know if it's just, pointless. It might be. It just might be, just something like that. But it was interesting, to say the least. And who knows? Maybe by talking it out, I can figure something out, put it together, or maybe down the line, it will help me reflect and figure something out. I have become I have become kind of like, I know that some people would think that that's just like mysticism, or uh, like nonsense, but I do feel that deep down, right, through dreams and through self-reflection, you can figure out so many things that or your unconscious is trying to tell you something, that in the back of your head it's there, but you just don't know. You don't have the words to put it together. Who knows? Maybe you'll help me out. Other than that, I made two mistakes, and they both revolved around bringing, you know, references to the past, right? They're big mistakes, right? I know, and it's something that I need to that I didn't say them, right? I posted with the major one. It's like there were posts, but um, I how do I put this? I don't have lingering attachment to past relationships, or people like that, right? Like there's no emotions anymore, like that are holding me to them or something like that. I have very difficultly worked through and gotten over them. That's the thing, right? That's what I'm trying to say is I'm trying, but I do feel guilt. I feel guilty because of the way that I acted. I feel guilty because you know I caused pain to other people, and a lot of them didn't deserve it, right? And I just wanna, I don't know. It's like, I just wanna be able to tell them, like, hey, you know, like, I am sorry. I apologize. Well, I apologize. I was being a sorry ass, right? Like, I can make a million excuses about mental health or whatever bullshit, right? But at the end of the day, I have to man up. I made the mistakes, right? I hurt people. Now, just, I know that I can never make it right, right? But what I do want to do is just bring closure to that. Be like, hey, apologize. Give them my sincerest feelings, and tell them, hopefully, it can bring closure to those, path to my past, right? That's just what I want. I don't want. That's pretty much it, you know. And I know that my past, brings a lot of insecurity and a lot of trouble to the current person I'm speaking to. I know that because they feel insecure with different things, right? Like they'll bring stuff up from the past, and I know that it's that it's targeted towards it because they they are things that only I would get, or that I will know. And for that I do apologize. I don't know if my past you know I'm gonna just say relationships, right? Or you know to make it like a broad term, right? my past. Uh, yeah, I don't know if any of them are, causing them direct, issues, but I think they might be, or just the fact that it bothers them. And yeah, I mean, it's in the past, and I don't have any lingering attachments. It's just, I just do want to bring closure in time, right? I'm not gonna go out and do it right now, and it will be something that I would ask permission from them first as well, right? Like if they don't feel comfortable with me speaking to them, I fully understand, and I will respect them. But yeah, I make those two mistakes, right? And they're just stuff from the past. The first one was me wanting to, posting that I wanted to bring closure to stuff. I shouldn't have done that. It was stupid of me, right? I know that it hurts. It probably hurt them. And the second one was I got baited by someone, which I think I know who they might be, but maybe I'm imagining things again. But yeah, I shouldn't have responded. I should have just ignored the comment and moved on. And also and also I know that they they gotta they get jealous, and it's understandable. Um, you know, one of the people that I was like just a random person online, right? Like I have no idea who they are or why they so interested in me, right? A They followed me, and they've been trying to hint at getting on a game of online, and stuff like that, talking basically. They've been trying to push for me to talk with them, and I honestly don't know who they are, right? It just any interaction I had with people, or any interaction I've had recently, or anything like that online, or really in real life, it's mostly just me being like trying to be nice, but being you know in a just in a normal way, right? Nothing that would even hint at me trying to get with somebody. But I know that it's my past that makes it very difficult for them to trust me, and it's probably something that is gonna keep on, that I'm gonna have to live with for a long time. So I'm just gonna I give you my word. It's like the past is in the past, right? Going forward, it's just about the present, and moving forward with new things, right? That's what I'm focusing on. um yeah, other than that, this is kind of like linking up. Well, I'll bring that up right now. you know and to make it more clear, because I'm pretty sure that they watch my videos. I've heard them say phrases that only I say, right, on these videos, right? And they say them repeatedly, kind of like, I feel like it's like a like a subtle thing, right? The past is in the past, right? you know yes, maybe I was living in fairy tales before. This is, I'm gonna say it in code so you can kind of understand. Only you and other people that were part of those will understand. Yeah, I did used to, you know I you know I was a little frog, right? Like, a frog in an adventure. I've met dragons, ghosts, and goblins, you know many demons, androids, you know angry cats, you know toxic mushrooms, or so many different things, right? And I did handle things wrongly, and that is my past, right? And I do want to bring closure to them, but there is no lingering feelings to it. That's just it. I'm just going forward with everything, clean. And yeah, I apologize. Especially, I do notice that you even feel uncomfortable playing certain characters, right? In video games, because somebody in my past played them, or you feel uncomfortable with certain characters in games in general, because you feel that they might bring back memories of them. For that, I do apologize, right? But you know there is no, you know there is no lingering attachment, in any kind of romantic sense. So yeah, stop being so stop, like I'm seriously not trying everything that I do. I'm trying to do it in a good way, but I do make mistakes. And this is now pivoting, like we all have a past, right? We all have, things that, scarred us, right? Things that, make us insecure, right? I know you have yours, right? I can, I know you're currently battling quite a few things that, make you very, hesitant to even let someone in. And already because of your position, it's very difficult, right? I understand that. And I'm willing to, just slowly work through it, right? As long as you put trust in me, I will put trust in you, fully. That's just the best way to. That's just the okay, yeah. That's just the best way to put it. You know, like I'm fully putting my trust in you, right? I'm, you know, avoiding, getting, making kind of like, I'm really trying hard not to get jealous with certain people and stuff like that. Even though I know, you know, the things that happen and all that stuff. So I'm making that big effort trying to move forward. So I ask the same from you. That's just, the same, you know, and and yeah, that's pretty much it on that. And kind of like pivoting into it, we all have that past, and it's just about being able to say, hey, we can work, we can look past it, and hopefully work something for our present and future. Yeah, I guess you can hear the helicopter and dogs, potentially my dogs barking, but who knows. Um, yeah, and that's pretty much it on that. Um, I do apologize for. I seriously apologize for those mistakes. I shouldn't have done it, right, and I can I felt it that we were so good, and then I posted those stupid things I shouldn't have, and then and then I felt you kind of like distance yourself a little bit, which if that's the case, I apologize. I really do. I I promise you, I didn't mean it in any kind of way that you know that was meant to cause you any harm. Yeah. But moving forward, it's kind of like linking up to this subject. I was watching a video from Dr. Anna, right? I really like her videos. They're mostly to do with psychiatry and dealing with your emotions, managing yourself, stuff like that, right? And this video was like how to know if somebody has changed, right? How to know if you want to let them back in. And this one really hit home because I used it to look at me. I'm like, how do I know that I'm really changing? How do I know that I'm really showing through my actions that I'm becoming a different person, that I'm becoming better? How do I prove myself, right? And honestly, I am trying so hard, right? And I feel like I am making a lot of progress, but sometimes you do stumble and you feel like you go back, a couple steps, or you make this you make a similar mistake to the one you made in the past, but different, right? It's like it's close enough that you're like, oh, it's similar to the past mistake, but it's not the same. And I try not to make the same mistakes, but always something new to stumble you or you know mess you up. And yeah, it's hard, right? Like I try to be honest, I try to be open and stuff like that, and I try to make my actions to match my words, but sometimes just simple misunderstandings or simple mistakes, simple lack of communication, it's the biggest deal, you know. And I think communication is the most important thing as well, right? You know, you know how the saying goes, right? If somebody really cares for you or somebody really wants to make it work, right, they'll find a way. And yeah, I just feel that that's kind of like currently really where I'm at, right? Yeah, I'm not gonna rush things, right? And I'm not gonna force things. And I'm just doing things based on who I am as a person, right? Being good to people, being nice, talking, respectfully to people, and just building connections and relationships, not romantic. That's only have one romantic relationship I'm trying to build, but um, make things organically as well, right? Even for the romantic relationship, organically. You know, don't don't do things that are like uh, too much of a pressure, and just take things in a good paced way. And yeah, if things are meant to work out, or people want them to work out, you will find a way, right? Like if somebody really wants you in their life, there's a million different ways that that they can allow you in, right? Make time for your schedule, or simple allow that more communication. Put some time on the side for hanging out with them or anything like that, right? It doesn't have to be a big deal, a big thing. Simple text doesn't take but a second, right? And you don't have to text all day. It can just be here and there. Simple messages similarly, right? Then you can take it to the next level and be like, hey, maybe let's go grab coffee one day or something like that. But yeah, I'm trying to change is what I'm trying to say at, but I'm trying not to lose myself. I'm trying to not lose um the goodness, but I am trying to get rid of a lot of the bitterness and the demons that were inside of me before, right? I am trying to just move those out. And yeah, that's a big update on that. So yeah, just going forward, it's you know unless I tell you that I like you, like that normally it doesn't mean I don't like the person. I'm just I don't know, maybe I'm bad at just communicating in a healthy boundary way, or I don't understand a lot of times, because I read the messages, or I read the stuff, or I read leave the conversations, and I'm like, I wasn't flirting in any way, but sometimes people take it that way. So yeah, just I'm just trying to let you know. I'm just trying to let you know that, yeah, that I only like the one. I only like you. Well, I'm sure you watch these. I only like you, right? The past is in the past. I'm actively working to show that I am changed. Well, I'm changing, right? I'm actively doing things. I'm actively taking actions to show that I am, moving forward or doing what I need to do. That's, you know, the best way to, kind of like put it, right? Is that I am actively making those changes, working out, reading, going, through goals. Yeah, like I said, I have my goal now. I'm working very hard for it, and hopefully it shows. It bears fruit eventually. In a couple in the next, in the near future. And yeah, as for the relationship thing, right? Like I said before, we don't have to rush things. I'm gonna stick around, right? Unless that if you for whatever reason, right, don't want me, you don't have to do it. Don't do it. Like in a side off way, right? If you can just directly tell me, and I will back off, I would understand, right? It will hurt, like, but okay, that's kind of like, I feel like that might be manipulation. Okay, so let me stop that. I would understand, right? If if you're not ready for a relationship, or you like somebody else, or you don't feel me, or it's whatever the reason may be, you know I can understand if you tell me, hey, could you give me some breathing room, or could you stop doing this, or I don't like you that way, any of that stuff, just let me know, right? Directly, just let me know directly, and I would understand. If you cannot do it because of where your position is and stuff, right? The same thing, just let one of your one of the people that you are close with to message me, right? That can do it, right? And just give them a code word or something, so I would understand that is from you. And yeah, it's the same thing. But I do think that yeah, it's like one of those things that, as long as they don't actively tell me, to live or whatever, I'm gonna just kind of like slowly, linger on there, and hopefully something, sparks. But if I notice that it's the same thing, right? If I notice that it's not working, or if I notice that we just drift, which does happen, right? No hard feelings on that either. It's just that's just the way life is, right? And you know, I'm just gonna try to do the best so I can just be a good person. And you know, I feel I am, I guess, kind of like an optimist, right? I feel like if I do the right things, I treat people right, eventually, hopefully, good things will happen to me. So yeah. Oh, one final thing, right? Like I said, I've been working out, right? So it's like I'm still, like there's still some fat on me, right? And you can, kind of like see it. But I'm working out. It's mostly for cosplay reasons, right? You can kind of see this, right? You know, uh, do I want to do that? Okay, I I never do this. I hate. I even swimming. I never take off my shirt. So this is a big ass fucking step, but I might have to do it anyway. I want to cosplay, characters that are in shape. So, ay Dios. All right, here goes. Here goes. Here goes. My bad. Okay, so um, I don't know. Like, I guess this is kind of like currently where I'm at, right? As you can see, I do have some, like you can kind of see some of the definition, right? Like you can kind of see the abs here, and you can kind of see them forming, right? You can see my sides a bit, my ribs here, right? You can kind of see my chest. Of course, I want to burn more of the fat off, right? That's the first thing, right? A lot of the fat on my arms, right? I have some fat on here that I can burn. I have some fat on here, right? Fat on here that I can burn, right? And you know on the side, like you can see my belly's not too big, but at the same time I could remove some of this on the sides, and I can just make more definition for the abs, right? The back and everything similarly, right? So it's just one of those things that I'm trying very hard, right? To kind of get in shape for it and be able to eventually um be able to wear stuff. I'm not really right now. I'm not flexing, but I don't know. Can I flex something? I don't know. I don't really care. But I just want it so that all of these extra fat on here can kind of be removed and can kind of be just kind of like lost. But as you can see, I still have some fat on here. You can see my abs, like I said. Well, this side as well. You can see them, right? They're kind of forming, but I just gotta work for it some more. And yeah, that's I guess that's my health journey, my getting in shape journey for eventually cosplaying characters without a shirt on or something, right? But yeah, I'm getting there. That's the best thing to say, right? Like I'm working, I am doing the exercises, I'm doing I'm cutting back a lot of calories, watching what I eat. Well, no, I'm not. I don't watch what I eat. I just eat less of it. So yeah, and also on my face, I've been noticing that it's starting to kind of like go down a bit. It's a less round, and that's good for the cosplay, especially the Crawler one I'm gonna do next. And yeah, so I hate taking off my shirt. Well, I did it. It's in a video. Don't laugh. Like I promise I'll get there eventually. Don't laugh. All right. Anyway, I think that's it. Just yeah. That's I'm just working. I am. Hopefully you can kind of see through the video. That I am doing the actions as well. I'm not just talking. They're not just empty words, right? But change takes time, right? That's just the best way to put it. And for anything to work, it just takes effort, right, from all parties involved. And if you want to make it work, it will work, right? But if it's something that you can make work, or you don't feel or anything like that, don't be ashamed, right? Or if it doesn't work, that's just how life is sometimes, right? But I will much more prefer, right? Because getting, just, fading off of people life, that shit hurts, and I know that it causes more harm. So a straight answer, like, just a direct answer, right, is a lot better. Just like if you're like, hey, I don't like you that way, or hey, I can't do it because of this, or I have feelings for somebody else, in case that is the point as well. There's no yeah, there's no hard feelings in it, right? But yeah, just yeah, it's one of those things, right? I'm learning to be more. I'm working my way to become the person I want to be, to become the man I want to be. And yeah, I feel like this video really did help me clear my mind and clear my thoughts, and yeah, just a good checkpoint for the future. So all right, see ya next update or something. Stop recording.